Hello everybody! Today I'm in my gym attire because we're going to be discussing the sport of triathlon. The sport of triathlon is very near and dear to my heart because I was an NCAA triathlete, which means I competed against other schools in this sport. This is a very kind of unknown sport to a lot of people because it combines three different sports. That's why it's called triathlon. So we start with an 800-meter swim, and then after that you do a transition and you go into a 13.1 mile bike. That can kind of vary depending on the location, and then you usually end in a 5K run, and they're pretty flat normally, hopefully. And the funny thing about this is your transition time matters, so everything has to be done very fast, and it takes a lot of thought to do this sport, which is kind of crazy. You have to think and be athletic at the same time. So I'm going to be showing you how the triathlon process works and kind of explaining it as I go on. There are many different variations of triathlons, ranging from sprint triathlons to ultra crazy Ironman where you're running a marathon and biking 113 miles and swimming 2 miles, but today I'm just going to be discussing the sprint with you guys. Alrighty, so the first event or part of the triathlon is the swim. What I usually compete in is a sprint triathlon, and that is an 800-meter swim, usually in open water, so a lake or a river or an ocean, or sometimes in somebody's pool, and you swim 800 meters. The thing with triathlon is you do individually walk into the water, and then there's one gun and everybody goes. So you need to know how to draft, which is when you swim on somebody's toes to keep up, or you need to be a leader, which that's more of a team aspect, where you pull somebody who's like a slower swimmer if swimming is your strong suit. If swimming is not your strong suit, then you're a drafter. But if swimming is your strong suit, then you're a puller. After the swim, we do a quick transition, which you take your cap and goggles off, and you take off your wetsuit, get everything ready, and off to the bike we go. Okay, so we did our speedy transition, and now we grabbed our bike, and we're off for the races. Fun fact about triathlon is that your helmet has to be snapped before you mount your bike. So now, we get our shoes ready and we mount our bike. Now that we're mounted in, we get going for a little bit before you put on your shoes. In collegiate racing, drafting is legal. So you get right on the shoes or the wheel of somebody else and you just ride. You want to be in a bigger group because then you have to do less work. The smaller group you're in, the more likely wind is to come in and hit you. So you want to get into a bigger group and you want to be usually the third or fourth person in. This is very dangerous, so you have to always be aware of your surroundings and the person in front of you. There's a lot of sharp turns and hills, so you have to really work with your group. The faster your draft group is going, the better. If your draft group is going too slow, then you can always leave the draft group and hopefully find a new one. Alright, now that the bike is done, we dismount, so we take our shoes off and we come out and go to the road. So now you got your running shoes on and you're in the last segment of the triathlon. So you just did a 13.1 mile bike and now you're doing a 5K run, which is 3.1 miles. This is my best part and some people's worst part. So this is where I like to catch up because the bike is my worst part. So this is where I hopefully catch up to everybody that passed me on the bike. And you don't really need a group for this, you just kind of go. And I think that's why it is my favorite. So let's go. So that is the basis of a sprint triathlon. Thank you for joining and listening along.